Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been a long road so far, but we are starting to approach the end. Right now, this is the loser bracket final. These two teams get one more opportunity, grand final or bust. There is nothing else for them now. The winning team, of course, will go on to face Fabi, who so far have looked dominant. These two teams really want another crack at them, but first they have to get past each other. It is going to be the Xmen versus Vibe. Joining me to break this one down on the desk, of course, two well-known faces of EU Halo. It's going to be Wonderboy and Onset.
Hi mate, you right?
Hi.
It's been a while.
That's been a while, hasn't it?
It's like
been strange.
first series of the day.
It's good to be on the desk with you, Harry.
Yeah, it feels good to be on the desk with you.
Shame we have to share it with Bryce every
it's
time.
a real shame.
I was going to say the same thing. I can't believe I've downgraded so hard.
Feelings mutual, Bryce. It always is.
I know.
Carry on. Don't lose your flow.
Yeah. I'm just a little bit jealous now because I can see the talented people, you know, Sims and Bravo. They're getting ready to cast, and I'm sitting going, why can't we switch the desks around?
Where did it all go wrong?
I know.
One thing I will say: we don't pay you to hold your cards upside down. Come on, man.
Oh, for goodness' sake,
sorry,
professional, Bryce.
Sorry, there we go.
This guy.
Well, I suppose it's probably the only mistake I'll make today. I'm like you two.
Wow.
Anyway, enough banter aside. What we are going to talk about now is this game and get your first impressions on it. Now, interestingly enough, Moses from that last game, he says he thinks Vibe are winning this. Do you agree?
I can't disagree with anything that Mo says at the moment because he's dominating and performing and fulfilling every single promise that he's made.
Yeah, if we disagree with him, he might 1v1 us on Halo and dominate us, and that's something I don't want. I don't need dominating anymore. I'm already bad enough.
Or he'll just shout at us from down there because he's been letting off some noise so far today, and I don't like confrontation, especially.
I don't like people shouting at me. That's not good.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
In real life, we're both just big softies.
Big
softies.
Mm.
Okay, so kind of coming into this game, what are your initial impressions then? The X-Men, what's been called a God Squad at the start of the season, hasn't really panned it out into such. Against Vibe, who definitely have a lot of community following with them. They're certainly a fan favourites for a lot of people in the venue. But, I mean, before we get to either of them even take on Fabi, who do we think is going to win this one?
I'm going to throw this one to you, Harry, because...
Who's going to win this one?
It's a difficult one.
It's a tough one, like you say, Mark. Like you touched upon, Brycey, God Squad on paper, they definitely 100% upgraded with Rami. And it's not a player versus player upgrade. I think Foxy is a better player than Ramirez, but I actually think Ramirez is a better fit for this squad. I said it on the Pro League broadcast, I say it constantly. I think Ramirez for this team, perfect fit. He has superstars around him, he can perform to his own level and his own potential with the superstars around him, and he can make the superstars on his team play very well as well. So X-Men on paper, very, very good. Are they better than this Vibe squad? That's going to be an interesting question to see if we can actually get answered during this series. Obviously we will. I don't know, man. It's so tough. I think this is actually a very, very close series. A lot closer than people think because X-Men so far, I mean, what have we got to go on from them? They had a series against Infused. They dropped a couple of games, a couple of Slayers. And then they just got absolutely smacked around by Fabi. So there's not a lot to go on so far from the X-Men. Whereas on the Vibe side, we actually have a lot to go on because they've gone through the losers bracket. They've had a tough run against Fabi, quite close games, 4-0. But closer than the 4-0 would suggest. Whereas the X-Men, I feel like there was a bit more of a stomp, right, when they lost 4-0 to Fabi. So Vibe have that losers bracket advantage, well not advantage, but that losers bracket run behind them. They have the advantage of having played like a little bit more and, you know, gone through some tougher games than the X-Men. So I'm actually looking forward to this series. If I had to give a slight edge, honestly, I think probably Vibe is playing.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a little look at the videos and the maps now to try and actually figure out if we can split the difference. All right, so this is going to be map 1. And as you can see, Status, Fathom, and Truth taken out this time. We are going to be playing Coliseum in the first map I think I've seen the entire day. Coliseum CTF will be up first. Now, how much does this favour one team or the other?
This actually favours X-Men a lot because Coliseum has never been vetoed in the Pro League by the X-Men. They are 100% happy to play this game type. They've never vetoed it, and they actually have a 3-1 record on Coliseum Capture the Flag. So very, very good percentage for them. On the other side, they've clearly been looking at Vibe stats because Vibe on Coliseum Capture the Flag, they're 0-2. They've never won this, and they veto it 38% of the time in the Pro League.
Not this time, though.
One thing I want to point out on Coliseum especially, sorry to jump in, is actually the sniper drone effect. We've seen sniper drone go off on this map when he picks up that sniper rifle. We say it all the time, and it sounds like we're being repetitive, but it is because he is so consistent with it.
He named himself after it. I feel like it kind of goes down to it. So you said 38%?
38% of the time, Vibe veto Coliseum Capture the Flag.
What about Fathom? What have you got the stats there for Fathom?
I most certainly do. 13%, and they have a 2-2 record. I think it might be a matchup dependent
Yeah, that's kind of weird. The fact that the one we're playing is actually the one they keep vetoing.
Yeah.
So you think this is more of a targeted ban?
I think, yeah, probably a targeted ban. It's interesting that they decide maybe they're just not feeling Fathom today. Maybe they're like, you know what, I can't really be bothered to play that game type, to be honest with you. I'm not really feeling it. And I think if we saw on the veto there, on the graphic, I'm pretty sure Xmen had their last veto and they vetoed Truth. So they basically had the choice between Truth capture the flag and Coliseum capture the flag. They decided to go with Coliseum, clearly because Vibe are 0-2, they vetoed it a lot, and Xmen are actually have a very good record on Coliseum capture the flag 3-1.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's take a little look at all of the maps now and see how we think this is actually going to play out between the two. So, Coliseum, double Eden, Truth, double Plaza, and we end up back where we started, on the Coliseum, but this time it's Slayer. Okay, on set, give me your first impressions. What do you take away?
This is the first time we're going to see sort of quite a lot of repetitive maps. We've seen Eden twice, which stands out to me at the start of the series. We haven't seen a huge amount of Eden, but the one Eden game we have seen, especially the Strongholds game, we have to talk about how dominant Xmen were against Infused on that. I mean, that was the fabled Warlord Goose. I don't want to bring it up too much, but that was 100, and it was just total and utter domination from them. So they're obviously very, very comfortable on Eden. So it'll be very interesting to see early on in this series 2 games of Eden. That really could strongly favour Xmen as well as this Coliseum game.
Interesting thing about these game types actually is the fact I think 4 out of 7 actually feature a sniper rifle, and snipe drone is on the map and Septic's on the map. So look for fights on those maps. I'm pretty sure Coliseum capture the flag, Eden Slayer, not Eden Strongholds, Plaza Slayer, but not Plaza Strongholds, and Coliseum Slayer, all in this series. So basically, Coliseum capture the flag, Eden Slayer, Plaza Slayer, and Coliseum Slayer, they all feature sniper rifles. So watch out for Snipe Drone and Septic battling on those maps.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing for me coming into this. Now, obviously Coliseum, that's basically the first pick coming in for Xmen. Then you've got Vibe taking that Eden Slayer. They said they want that one in. Eden Strongholds, though. So whenever I see a double map, I always sit there and go, it's a little bit of confidence, right? If you play a map that you've just won on, even if it's a different game mode, you're quite confident. You're sitting there going, you feel a lot more, it's a lot more kind of just the same old, even with a different thing. However, bearing in mind how powerful that Eden Stronghold is for Xmen, I feel like if Xmen end up taking it, it should be a really easy Eden Strongholds for them.
I was going to say, though, the difference between those two game types is so different. We're on the same map, but it is night and day, as Harry said. Eden Slayer, actually quite a sort of meticulous, slow paced game type, always rotation around those power weapons. And we've got rockets on the map, you have the sniper, you have the shotgun, which is so effective, and of course, you know, you've got all of those weapons on the map. It becomes a slowed down game because you're always waiting on the next spawns.
Whereas Eden Strongholds, like, oh, you know what? You come with me. We're going for this Stronghold.
Exactly. It's a much more manic battle. You're forced into objectives around the map. So although we are going to be seeing them on the same map, they are two totally different.
Well, that actually leads into a different thing. Then is it the reason that the guys on Vibe have picked that to begin with? Maybe they want to slow it down. Maybe they're going, you know what, we need a slower game here.
I can't believe they've picked Eden Slayer against Xmen when you know Snipe Drone is so good at rotating around the map with the sniper rifle. The key on Eden Slayer for me is making sure Snipe Drone doesn't get the sniper off the start, and if he does get it, you have to find him because he's so elusive. We speak about the Snipe Drone rotation. Whenever we see someone on stream with a sniper rifle rotating around the map, it just reminds me of Snipe Drone all the time, because as soon as Snipe Drone gets the sniper, he knows exactly where's safe on the map. He knows where to rotate to. He knows where his team is. He knows where all the players are on the map. So if Xmen can get him the sniper rifle, if Xmen can feed him the information in terms of where is safe and where is not, I think Xmen are going to do very, very well in these game types.
All right, well, we've seen the maps. We've talked about them at length now. Let's start getting those predictions down. Okay, I'm going to start with you on set. Who do you think is going to win this one in the end?
It's quite interesting because before this series actually started, if I was going to say those teams matching up, I'd go with Vibe. But looking at those vetoes, I'm going to have to go with Xmen because so many of those game types seem to favour them at the start.
Literally took the words out of my mouth. Before the series, would have said Vibe. They're you know, good lot of momentum. They have a good, powerful, motivational coach behind them. But looking at the game types, I mean,
I think this is the first time that we've seen the vetoes be so important in the series.
So important. I mean, Vibe have to beat Xmen on essentially their best game types here if they want to win.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to agree with Moses. I think it's Vibe.
Moses.
It's
not Moses.
Well, in fairness, he just parted every other team in front of him.
Oh, nice. Saved. Good job.
I'm agree with him. I'm agree with Moses. To be honest with you, I think, you know, he's playing so well right now, he can't do no wrong. So I don't think he's got this game wrong either. I'm joining him.
All right, no, that's fair enough.
It's a fair bet.
And to be honest with you, before the vetoes, you guys would have agreed with me.
Yeah, most certainly. Like Mark
But
said,
after them.
I think probably.
Hey, you're the experts. I'm just along for the ride.
Watch us get this wrong.
Mark definitely brought up a great point in the fact that before this series, we both would have said Vibe. But going into it, having seen the maps, having seen the map layout for this series, definitely I'm thinking now Xmen.
And definitely the player to watch on those first couple of game types, definitely going to be Snipe Drone.
Okay, so I was actually going to lead into that next, actually. Key players to go through. You're ahead of the curve on set. Brilliant.
For the first time in my life. The first time in my life I am ahead of the curve.
Hey,
I'm usually the one that's sat at the back of the corner
trio.
facing the wall.
We raise you up.
Your hairline's above the curve.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, he took the low blow.
Come here.
He took.
Look at the
Mine
camera.
isn't great.
Look at the camera.
Yeah, I know. Ours isn't
Look
great.
how
Look
far
at
this one goes back.
All right, okay. Let's move on.
Anyway,
at least I still have hair, though.
I've lost control. It's all gone.
Do you want to bend forward and just show him the back of your head?
Absolutely
No,
not.
I don't think so.
Can we
get an aerial
come back
view?
to Halo at some point? Or
This is the roast fest, apparently.
This is
but
it.
let's go back to Halo.
We started
Halo's
later
better.
today.
I thought we were on. I thought we got through it. I thought we were fine.
Yeah.
It was all going so well.
As soon as you put me and him together, that's it. It's just no holds barred.
There's no holds barred. But we love you guys for it. You guys are a little bit of a duo now.
I'm sorry.
It's like yin and yang. You guys complement each other.
I held it back.
Well, apart from the division on the desk, everything's fine. But I'll tell you what, let's get this game underway. But before we literally go and throw this to the casters, I kind of want to just say what each team has to do to win. Now, you've already highlighted Snipe Drone, got to shut him down. Is there anything else we need to look at?
Another player, we talk about Snipe Drone being so good with the sniper rifle, but another player, you look at this Xmen lineup, and it's so interesting that you say, oh, skip Snipe Drone, the sniper. You go back to H2A, Chalky was arguably one of the best snipers, not only in Europe, but in the world.
Yeah.
So there's two players on that team who know how to use that weapon so effectively. And I think it's definitely going to be down to those two players, but I think you highlighted it brilliantly on the Vibe side. It's going to be a battle initially between Septic and Snipe Drone, between those, getting that rifle and putting it to best use.
I think on the Xmen side, feeding information to Snipe Drone, is key. And I think the best player to do that in the game is Ramirez. I mean, his communication is absolutely top tier. He knows exactly what he wants from his squad, and he knows exactly what he wants to tell his squad to do. And most of the time, his squad will do it. Snipe Drone already knows exactly what he wants to do with the sniper rifle. So as long as Ramirez can feed him the information on the map, as long as his teammates are all calling out, feed him that information, he can go wild. But of course, first of all, you absolutely have to get the sniper into Snipe Drone's hands. If you don't do that, then Vibe have a very, very real shot of taking this series.
Okay. Now, here's an interesting thing, right? Because you guys have based this on the veto. So I'm now actually going to ask you for the scoreline, which I haven't been doing an awful lot this weekend. Because I feel like quite strongly that already I think the first 3 maps you gave to the Xmen. So are you seeing maybe a 4-1, a 4-0? Do you think that maybe it's just the first 3 maps? I kind of want to know where you're feeling with this.
I think personally it will be a 4-1. I think Xmen take the first Eden map, but not the second. I think it's Eden Strongholds the second Eden map, right? So I think they play Strongholds afterwards. I actually think Vibe take the Strongholds, but that's the only. Wow. I think that's the only game type they take in the series.
I'm going to say a 4-2. I think these are 2 quite evenly matched teams. As I say, the vetoes are massive in this one, whereas before we would say Vibe are the stronger team. So if they win those first 3 games, they will have momentum. It's going to be really difficult for Vibe to get back into the series, and I think that's what's going to give Xmen the advantage, and I can see them taking it 4-2.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Banter aside, you 2 are fantastic at this.
Stop it.
Shut
All
up,
right.
Bryce.
Well, from 2 fantastic guys to 2 more fantastic guys, we are about to get this game underway. Of course, Xmen versus Vibe, and 2 great casters. It's going to be Bravo and Sims. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Brycey. Indeed, welcome over here to the caster's booth. My name is Sims. This wonderful, beautiful man is Brycey. That was a bit interesting.
Brycey, also a beautiful man, though.
Of course, is Bravo. Massive game coming up next. This is, of course, the losers' final. You can only be 2 people in the grand final, Brav. One of these teams going home, and 2 massive, massive teams. There's some huge names across each lineup.
Yep.
It's going to be a very fiery game.
Oh, it certainly is, and I think we already talked about it, but on the other side, you have Fabi has 4-0'd both of these teams. So these 2 teams are now going up against one another as well during this match, kind of saying, all right, well, we're here because we both got 4-0'd by what is now the best team, well, what is currently the best team in Europe. So, neither team can be too confident based on those performances. However, we'll have to see exactly how this one plays out. As the gentleman on the other side talked about, this one, could go one way. We could see a lot of the games going towards Xmen, but I think we saw a great performance from Vibe earlier. Even though he went to 7 games, I talked to Riots outside. He said, we just wanted to make it interesting. So we'll have to see if that is the case for Vibe. But certainly going to be an interesting series, especially as we look at these game types. There's only 4 maps played in this whole series, right? It's Coliseum, wild. Eden, Truth, and Plaza, which is rare because I believe we have at least 7 maps that we've seen in the map pool. I believe there's even more than that. So I mean, there's plenty of series where a single map isn't duplicated at all throughout the entire series. However, here we have 3 different duplicates. So we'll have to see exactly how that plays out. And if either team that grabs, for example, if they win the Coliseum flag, that doesn't necessarily mean that they win the Coliseum Slayer, but it does demonstrate a certain prowess. But who do you want to kick things off here with for this CTF Coliseum Game 1?
I think if we want to see a little bit of fun and laughter, we've got to start with the man, the myth, the legend, that is Snipe Drone, Mr. Michael Jerachow. His shot is on point. There's a sniper rifle on the map. I want to see what he can do with this, what kind of level and position he can get into with his team revolving around him. And honestly, just see him get this weapon and drill it into the bodies of Vibe. But when we look across at Vibe, we've got people like Septic, Lonnie. They can do just as much damage, if not more, in certain circumstances. That, my friends, is a lovely little stat. There's the nice thrust jump over there. Of course, will stabilize, grabs it, makes his way up into S3. And we're going to also see Ramirez there. He'll ignore the sniper rifle. He'll push forward into Blue Cave. He's going to pick up a double kill as well. You can see it down in the feed, Andy. And this just kind of leaves the sniper rifle open. Interestingly, did just initially forget about it. Went over a little bit too overzealous and give the sniper away. I believe it's now in the hands of Vibe. But here comes Jimbo, big Jimbo, with 2 sets of big rockets as well, looking for some more players. Cleans up 1 with the BR. Let's see what he can do with these.
And I got to tell you what, actually, the sniper stayed in the hands right here of Xmen. So it's actually going to be Chalky as we switch over, who was able to grab the sniper. So Jimbo able to lay down some really good rocket cover, and really just his simple presence on top sniper allowed Chalky to be the player who would sweep in for the sniper rifle.
Oh, this is dodgy. He misses the second beatdown, unfortunately. That's going to be a big kill. That's going to be Septic as well. He got the reversal. Did catch a trade as well on Sniper Drone, managed to take him down. Now we see London pushing heavily into the red cave. Jimbo's going to poke out. Jimbo being super aggressive. Holy hell, Jimmy. What a shot. Dominant force there with the Magnum. Almost slips off the map. We'll clamber back up there. Someone is on S3. He's going to throw a grenade in there. There's a sprint that's going to land just to see if he could possibly pick up any hit markers. Double kill coming in on the side there. Sorry, it wasn't a double kill. It was actually just Septic. And another person. 3 members of Vibe now filling the kill feed. Move across to Snipe Drone. He's found himself the sniper. He lands the no-scope, but unfortunately he's taken down over on the oven.
And now we'll go over to Lunny, who did survive narrowly. He gets no scope to the body, but is able to pull that out. But I have to say, that's a flagpole on the other side, so we'll see how this plays out.
Interesting double kill as well. He did take it, picked it up. There were no one there to retrieve it. We'll move across to Riots, who will get taken down. The SMGG, my friend. Let's take a look at Chalky's POV now. Going to find Lunny coming off at the spawn. Perfect. Wrecks his face, takes him down, and now he's going to anchor in this cave. Let Jim Bossity pull forward. Jimmy unfortunately gets a grenade to the face, so he does the right decision there. Let's push back. Let's get his shields again. And now, look at the cheeky jump, though. He's doing the frosty jump. He's trying to go over, and he's dropped down. He's actually managed to pull it off, Brav.
But I have to say, I got to point out what's going on the other side as well. So we'll stay on this POV, but Snaky is in the enemy base with the rockets and the flag. He was the only one that was really on the rocket side of the map. So now let's go to Snaky here, rocket and flag in hand.
And you know what? Even from up here, these guys are getting loud and leery. We're above them. We're a level up in the air. The audience is in front of them as well. But certainly the noise coming out of this team is loud and proud. They're going to bag it, and there we have it. You can hear the audience going wild. Vibe are going to put one on the... This is insane. They've managed to pull that one and get away with it. The sniper rifle's there as well on the floor. They're going to put one on the scoreboard. 1-0 to Team Vibe.
And I got to say, Snaky's run right there, I'm sure some of you at home were watching that 10-minute mark as well when the rockets were dropping. There was no rocket presence, but you saw it out of your corner, the corner of your eye, in the screen. Snaky runs across the map, and he's continuing to put on a show here with a double as well. Does he turn 3? No, that does not connect. But I have to say, Snaky really the only player to pull it off.
But you know what? He gave his teammate. He managed to get his half shield. His teammate jumped up with the flag. I believe it was Septic. Came in with a ground pound off of the table. Took down his teammate. Now we're moving across to BDR himself, Mr. Big Daddy Riots, in his cave. Trying to tag some players up. He tags one. Lunny's there for the retrieval on the assist. We look at the kill feed. Snaky's going to get taken down across the map. Then Lunny comes in with a double kill as well, cleaning up Jimbo. 3 members collapsing on 1 player down at S1. But look at his position. He's been given the all clear. Now he'll run straight through Sniper. Almost got into the cave, but the player there was there to stop his advancement.
And one thing I got to point out, taking a look at the damage right now in real time, Jimbo for a moment is the only player to cross that 1,000 mark. He's at 1483, but on the other side, Lunny is the only player on his team to cross the 1,000 mark, but it looks like all 4 dead.
All 4 members go down. Septic collects the sniper rifle on the floor, scopes in, finds one, looks for a second one. He's being pushed rather aggressively. A bullet's going to come from behind him, down. But look at this, we hop on board with Snaky. Stealth cap as well, 2 in the bag now for Team Vibe.
That's right, that's 2 flag caps for Snaky as he really started those runs. But as I look at Vibe, let me tell you this stat. They have 3 power weapon pickups and they have 10 power weapon kills. On the Xmen side, it's 2 power weapon pickups and only 4 kills. So complete power weapon domination right now from Vibe. It's also showing on the scoreboard.
Snaky going to use the bump jump there. He will fire off of the fridge. Finds one down in basement. Lunny, Septic, and Riot's 3 down now for Xmen. Snipe John's left all alone. The boy who lived, who came to die around the corner, whips out the AR, takes him down as well. Jimbo will try and make something of it. Unfortunately, will be kicked back as Snaky falls. Septic going to hide behind this rock just behind the oven. He does stay alive. Nice cheeky maneuver. Turns round. Can he tank up Chalky? No, he cannot. He will get shut down. That's going to be Jimbo who runs into Blue Maze.
And that was going to be a pull from Ramirez, but that's going to be shut down just about right away. Jimbo's going to try to still turn it into something with some fine shots, but Jimbo's still leading the game in damage. He's at 1,700 right now. Next closest player is Lunny. Not too far away now at 1,500, so we're starting to see some more players put some certainly some damage into the opposing team.
Very unlucky thrust. He goes backwards, but a grenade banked off the wall and landed right beneath his feet. Stood in a landmine, blew his legs off, but here comes the 3rd flagpole, Brav. This could potentially be the last one of this match, and my word, this has been super quick so far. I don't know about you, would you have liked to see him push up more, maybe take rocket control a little bit more? He could have stayed where he was, waited them off the respawn, but I suppose he does have, defense, and he's also got a touch as well.
Yeah, I think what Snaky wanted was another player to drop so that he could stay at rockets and kind of fight anyone going bridge. That's not exactly what happened, so he realized he had to step up. Now they have 2 players low, so let's see exactly how this plays out.
So sniper rifle's up in 5 seconds, but Jim knows it don't really make a difference. This flag's almost there. They've got Snaky in the back of the base. We see a crouch jump come in. 1 player only needs to touch it. It's all on Snaky. Can he get the 3rd and final cap of this game? He's putting in a grenade. He gets the kill as well. Ramirez is steamboating in. That's almost a double kill. Snaky saves the day, grabs it in. Oh my word! Vibe cleaning up game number 1. Kel, holy hell, Snaky going off.
Wow, he ends the game. I mean, what a great objective we saw from him in that game. I mean, he almost finishes the game with just as much damage as Jimbo himself. Snaky finishing at 2,221, and Jimbo finishing only at 2,245. So we saw a lot of players on Vibe starting to catch up, and Jimbo really wasn't able to do that much in that game. However, Jimbo leading for his team. He did go 15 and 12, so that is most kills in the game and tied for least deaths.
All smiles across the board here on Team Vibe. But as we looked across, I've got to say, Andy, I just kind of turned my head and tilted it towards the Xmen. I looked at that team, and honestly, the first thing I saw, what I said before, and we saw it at Worlds, we see Chalky. He just jumps up, he slams all his teammates' hands on the ground, and you know what? He just says, This is what we need to do, boys. This is how we do it. We've got the kills now on screen. 15, 16, 17 going up consecutively. Snaky, Septic, Lunny. But unfortunately, we look across the pack there. Jimbo at the top, you mentioned it, Brav, with the amount of kills he was racking up, doing well. But unfortunately, I've got to say that's a bit of a standard Ramirez kind of ratio there. We've heard it time and time again about the Neg Ares, but 5 to 16. That's not a stat.
No, that's the other. That's also what I have to point out too. At the ending stat, and now this is remarkable. It continued for the guys on Vibe. 3 power weapon pickups on Xmen. Same number. 3 power weapon pickups. When we look at the power weapon kills category, Vibe comes in with 12. And Xmen with 4. They've tripled their amount of power weapon kills. That tells the whole story. Xmen need to be tracking those power weapons better, and they need to be putting them to better use as well. They're equal in terms of how many power weapons they got. However, Vibe with 3 times the amount of power weapon kills, and really that was the deal maker.
The proof's in the pudding, you know. I mean, you can see it in the kill feed there. And I don't want to necessarily, I hate to call out Ramirez because of the stuff that we see him doing, but I've got to be honest, Andy, we really didn't see much. You know, we could say he was constantly going for the flag. I really didn't see much flag, movement from Xmen.
No.
It was always locked down in the base. Vibe were just cleaning up. I think I only saw 2 real good pushes come out of them, and all the rest of the time, every single time we saw Vibe mecha push, they made it count, and that was super, super important. And just the teamwork and the team shot was on fire. Game changer.
It certainly was. We'll have to see if they carry that into game number 2, which, as a reminder, will be Team Slayer on Eden. Taking a look at the records for Xmen, let's see Eden. They are 2-1 in regular season play. They have never vetoed Slayer Eden, so Xmen has to be feeling pretty good. And on the other side, on Vibe, they are 1-2 on Eden, so a losing record, and they have vetoed 11% of the time. So certainly not as confident as Vibe. We'll have to see if Xmen can use that to their advantage.
You can see the vetoes for map 2 is now across your screen, guys. Vibe initially got the first one. They took out the rig. Xmen came in second. They took out Coliseum. Then back onto Vibe Plaza. Then over to Regret. And then finally Vibe discontinued Truth, which of course led us to this Eden TS. Now, me personally, Andy, I'm a big fan of Eden Slayer. You've got the rocks on there. You've got the snipers on there. Time and time again, though, when somebody gets the lead, it becomes increasingly hard for the opposing team to get back into it, because you tend to find they'll turtle into the base, they'll take control of top cat, and they'll just stay there, and they'll happily say, if you want a piece of this, come and get it, because they don't really have to move anywhere.
Right, that's it. I mean, and as we also look at it, one thing I wanted to mention for Vibe, the reason they vetoed Slayer Truth there was they actually have an even worse record. They did not win a Slayer Truth all regular season. They're 0-2. They also vetoed it just about 20% of the time. So you have Vibe there a little bit not confident in those last Slayers, and you can bet that Xmen knew that, leaving those last 2 Slayers and kind of making Vibe choose the lesser of their 2 worst game types.
Looking forward to this one. We're seeing a bit of banter thrown from either side of the stage there. We're seeing Septic shine across, looking at Snipe Drone now. I don't want to say fallen from grace, but, you know, you look at what these guys have done. We're talking... on this team, 7, 8, 9, 10 event. We had 40 wins near enough between this entire roster. You got his duo in crime there, Jim Bossett, who I believe has not won a single event without Mike. I could be wrong on there, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. The dangerous duo, the Jim Drone combo, obviously known for their top 8 achievement at Worlds and beating RNG back at Aspen X Games. Can they come back from this? Honestly, that was a really fired up game from Vibe.
Oh, it certainly was. I think the way, I mean, and the way that they didn't let up, right? I mean, they had a great start. Even you see a player like Snakey, the way that he had rocket control, they went for the bottom mid toss. For him to step up, keep in mind that flag was capped. So if we go all the way back to the beginning of cap number 3, Snakey's the player on top rockets. He does not wait for rockets to spawn. Instead, he starts to advance the flag. And it was actually Lunny with the, I believe he had the shotgun in his scatter shot in the back pocket. They eventually run that. Riot continues the run, and Snakey's the one who spawns, gets a double, and brings it on himself. So he's continuing flag runs. He's finishing flag runs himself. As I take a look over, he was the player with 2 flag caps in the game as well. The only player to have 2 flag caps. In addition to that, he went 15 and 10 with 7 assists. So I think, you know, for me, he's the standout player. You know, it's one thing to be a very strong Slayer. It's one thing to even be a good objective player. But when you're actually the player connecting those dots in the match, it's pretty incredible. I think that's what we just saw from Snakey.
You do have to remember that Snakey has come onto this roster after being dropped off of what is now Fabi, used to be U4X, and before that Online Warriors. He's played at this top level. Yeah, he's played with the guys who are now 10-0 in the league and just destroying everybody here on LAN. So he knows that mindset, and he wouldn't have... You know, they wouldn't have picked him up if he wouldn't have been a good fit for that team. He's now on Vibe, and these guys are just gelling together and getting better and better and better. I don't think they would have come into this being 4th. Had this roster been at the start of the season, this would have certainly, especially with a man like Septic, who has just been... For a guy who's taken a month or 2 off from Halo 5, it doesn't show. He's been amazing this entire event. Moving into this, any initial thoughts from yourself, how we kind of transfer that game number 1 into game number 2?
I think Xmen needs to look to capitalize on the fact that this is indeed a weaker Vibe game type. They need to remember that. They need to go ahead and push immediately. They need to establish control. You and I are saying we're excited to see Slayer on Eden. It's not a game type we get to see that much. Really they need to focus on map control, and I think, for me, Team Slayer on Eden, the way to play it is you need to be cycling those spawns. Don't let the enemy team establish a presence and get a control out. You need to have pressure right away, whether it's a player in an attic with an AR, however you want to pressure the opponents, they need to do that, because otherwise Vibe is going to push out of those spawns easily.
Remember, guys, if you are just joining as well, welcome along. Tweet the stream, use the hashtag HCS, get involved on social media, and of course, join the conversation. You can see it there as my lovely hands try and, I'm not going to do as much more. There we go. Attempt to hold. You see that? It's actually a lot harder than what it looks, to be fair, because you've got to get that right.
It's heavy. They don't know how heavy it is.
And I don't even lift, bro, as you found out the other day. We are doing some giveaways on Twitter and everything else as well. I believe it's esl.gg/HCS EU Finals. Or EU Finals HCS. My bad, got it the wrong way around. You know, some Astros on there. Plenty of rec packs. Plenty of other Halo goodies as well. Thank you very much to Astro for providing those prizes for the Halo community. Lots of action to get underway. I believe the players are jumping back into the lobby. This is going to be a fired-up one, and, you know, Xmen have just got to pull it back out, Brav, at the end of the day. This is one of Europe's finest teams, some of Europe's finest players. A little bit of a fall from grace. It's time to turn face and prove that they have what it takes to stay in this tournament and get back in the grand finals.
All right, let's go ahead and see who you want to start this off with.
Personally, I want to start with Ramirez. He had a bit of a, I'm not even going to sugarcoat, he had a trash game previous series, so hoping to kind of redeem himself now as we come off the spawn. And he's going to go over a red catwalk and try and make his way here over to the shotgun. Nades are going in, looking for some hit markers in security. They haven't pushed in on this. And this is a kind of a particular typical Ramirez play. He's a big fan of making his way over here, especially when we look at something like Strongholds, the camos there. He kind of owns it and dominates it. Not fair enough, it's a kill. I'm surprised he didn't just whip out his Magnum as that guy was one shot. Or get one to clean it up first of all. And now we see a little bit of a lead. And no, almost sniper control, but he decided to bail on that.
Not sure why he would. Potentially leaving it for snipe drone, but you think he would at least bring it back into the base. So we'll have to see exactly how that plays out. Keeping an eye on snipe drone's screen as well. We'll keep you updated on that.
I think he may have just missed it. He went there and just didn't go far enough to grab it and bring it back in. But as you say, Andy, snipe drone's trying to get a hold of it, but he's getting a lot of pressure from across the map over at red. Jim's now going to set himself up at Cat to see any oncoming assault from Little Cat. No one's over at Nest as well. I'm looking across the POVs just to see where people are. We got the boys from Vibe. Snakey's just collected rockets. We'll jump over to his POV now, but generally they're amassing around this area. Pretty much from where rockets are, all 3 or 4 members are around him. He's got his team rallying back. They are down by 3 kills. Sniper rifle, though, still untouched.
Let's go ahead and go to observer mode really quick because Snakey is on a flank right now with these rocks, and he just needs to catch the right sightline. He might lay it down on snipe drone, but no, hit the pipe. That's right, so now we'll jump out of observer back to snipe drone.
Unfortunately, hits the pipe, and that gives Snipe Drone the advantage to walk away with a fresh sniper in his back pocket. Let's see if he can find some faces now. We'll be going into a listening in about 2 minutes' time with the X-Men. We'll see what they got to say as they are in the lead currently, but I think we kind of expected this. When we know Slayer sometimes, when this much is on the line, can be a very slow and campy game type.
That's right. Now, one thing we need to worry about is those rockets dropping in 10 seconds. So really all eyes on the map are going to shift over here to those rockets dropping in Turbine.
You called it perfectly. As soon as you say that, in comes a sniper. One bullet goes in. Ramirez looking to clean up. Unfortunately, the backpack comes in from Septic. Now, he's a man that can also do damage with this weapon. He's looking at the red X to see if he can support Snakey now. Snakey's going for a call out. All 3 of his team members are down. They are down on a deficit right now. They're all going to be spawning in blue. Look for the entirety of X-Men over in red and possibly outside near rocks as well.
And you were talking about Ramirez's start here. Have to say, Ramirez, not too bad. He's 3-0 right now. Not leading necessarily in the damage category, but that is 3-0, of course, starting off a 3-0 kill streak.
Fair enough. We have the sniper rifle with Septic. Yeah, we're going to hold off on the listening just for a second, just until Septic dies. I want to see how many other faces he can pick up. Jimmy comes round the corner, gives him a face full of lead. So we'll move on board with Jimbo, and we're going to jump into a listening with the X-Men.
Mike's getting shot, Mike's getting shot.
Blue stairs. Top cat, Mike. Top cat, Snakey, I'll shoot. Blue BR.
I'm waiting.
One blue bend now. From blue.
One shot, blue step shit, right here.
Yeah, I'm going.
Nice job.
Sniper red.
Nice shit, guys, nice shit. Good control.
Do we get blue K? Top cat. No, that's still me.
Nice shot, Jim, nice shot. Good shit. One more still in tower. I don't know, he's in tower.
Also, blue behind me, Is that you shoot?
Get back, no, blue behind. Snipes up, Jay, snipes up.
Andy, push his scope.
Nice shots, Jay, good shit. Not on in blue, not on in blue, not on in blue.
He's weak.
Stay alive, you can, Jay, stay alive, Jay, stay alive, Jay.
Blue bend, listen to me. Blue bend to lobby.
Snipe is up, snipe is still up.
Leave the rocket for me, Jim. I'll spawn it.
Jay's going for snipe, Jay's going for snipe.
I'll go the respawn. Once we bend, I'll go rocket.
One outside, they're trying to base snipe, they're trying to base snipe.
Go blue, Jim. Go blue. Blue bend now, one shot. Actually, we bent Snaky.
I'm dead. Snipe's doing snipe swap.
Stay there with one rocket, Jim. Stay there with one rocket.
Snipe's still down up there. Keep picking him, Mike. Someone has to keep watching red Ben for Mike if you can. Keep an eye on red Ben.
Jay, play for Mike.
Yeah, I'm getting HMG.
No,
Rockets in 10 seconds if you can start making a move outside.
Two blue sneaky, Robin someone else. Wait. I'm gonna get hit.
Look what Jimbo is.
They know I'm One's crouch, red sneak. I'd like red sneaky kind of.
One dead. We can move his rockets now.
Two in lobby, they got rockets. One weak in lobby. One shot on me.
Mike's gonna get one, Mike's get one.
One shot on me.
Nice shit, Jim.
Rockets are down, right side.
I'll get him. Rise is dead. My rockets. Alright, someone get him.
Jim's got rockets, Jim's got rockets.
Come blue, bro. Crouching red SMG. Jake, you're P. I'm staying on
You're on your own, Andy, and you're on your own.
3 red SMG, 3 on red.
And just stay alive, you can, you're on your own, mate.
Anyone help me up here? Anyone help me up here?
You're alone.
You're alone, Jake.
Andy,
Don't worry, Andy, guys play Andy, don't worry. Jay's got tower, Jay's got tower.
Over to west, the red nest. Someone's got the shot in red SMG. They've got a
Nice
shot.
shot, Mike, nice shot, good shot.
If you see a dot active bait, play as if he's got shot in, trust me. I'm gonna come. Jake, you sell that. Someone needs to watch bottom mid. Someone needs to watch bottom mid. Rotate blue 2. I'm gonna get this SMG.
Andy, can you watch bottom mid? Andy, can you watch bottom?
My bottom mid.
Rocket's down mid stairs, right in front of you. Andy's got him, Andy's got him. Nice job, Andy. Andy, just play past him outside of him.
We have a 10 kill lead, right? One rocket left. Andy, you're complete loader. I'm gonna watch bottom mid, right, Jake? Just help me. What's for OS? Red fan.
And as you can see from the scoreline 21-10, the X-Men certainly asserting their dominance right now. We're going to take a look at the observer mode just to show you guys where things are playing out across the map. We've got Ramirez over on his own, a little bit of a rock and a hard place, but I want to go to his POV, Andy, because at this moment in time, he's got the rockets in the back pocket. I didn't catch that. Oh, you've actually just used them, so he's going to completely show me up there and say I'm wrong. He will switch it for an SMG. He drops down. But you know what? Lunny's going to be waiting there with open arms with an SMG himself to clean him up and get a free kill.
That's right now as we switch back over to Snipe Drone. Of course, a 10-kill lead, quite substantial. And if I have to look at the difference maker there, Sims, it's once again in the power weapons category. So this time we have X-Men with 2 power weapon pickups. On the other side, 3 power weapon pickups for Vibe. However, 11 power weapon kills for X-Men right now in this game currently. And on the other side, only 3 for Vibe.
Oh my word. Here we go. Snipe Drone show. Time to bring it alive. A couple of things. Every time we look at that kill feed, we keep seeing an X-Men player taking down someone from Vibe over and over again. 25-15. Still a 10-kill deficit. Now knocked down to 9. But he's got the rockets and he's got plenty of them. 3 of them in the chamber. He's going to switch out that sniper because he had no bullets left. So what do you think the play is? Would you, as they are down, is the best thing to try and take control of blue so they can set up for that next snipe?
Yeah, I mean, so right now you have Septic on the other side with the sniper rifle in hand.
So he just grabbed it.
Yeah, he does have that. So they're actually sitting okay. They're not down by that much. This Slayer hasn't gone far enough into the game where this game is at all out of reach for them. I think they need to play it slow, play 1 kill at a time, make sure they get the next few drops. Right now, Vibe have gotten more power weapon pickups themselves, 4-3.
I'm going to jump across to Septic's POV because Mike's just sitting pretty. He's got 3 in the barrel and he doesn't really have to do no because look at the scoreline. You know what I mean? They can just turtle, they can just chill. But it's all on this man. He needs to find some faces, get a couple of easy picks, but he also needs his teammates to move with him and rotate so they can get into those angles because right now where he is, as you can see, Snaky's just walked into somebody and unfortunately he gets taken down by a rocket.
Yeah, that's it right there. You see, now Septic still sniper rifle in hand, down by 10. The other, I was going to tell you just so we could take a look, the other player still Snipe Drone in the same exact spot, hasn't moved. He's got the rocket launcher. He's making sure his team is watching everything, and he's watching this low and this mid catwalk. He can, of course, double back over here to the bend if he needs to, switch all the way back to lobby, turbine area. He's in a really good spot, and there's no reason for him to move. So this is very disciplined play, I will say, from both sides. But, of course, when you're in a disciplined stalemate like this, of course, the team with the advantage is going to be able to sit comfortably.
So let's take a look at where everybody is across the map then. We've got Jimbo, who's going to be in security on his own, just going one-on-one and toe-to-toe with somebody else. Look over at... Oh, no, we'll just stay for a second, see if he gets some sort of engagement. He's going to grab himself that shotgun and just wait for anyone else wants to go with him. Move across to Chalky's POV. He's on back rocks. He's going to be waiting for them to come off the spawn. They're going to be up in 1 second. He knew they were there. That's a fresh one. Killing Frenzy as well. Star Killer. So the kid took someone out of the air as they were coming down for the ground pound. Grabs himself the sniper rifle as well, which Septic did have. Not entirely sure where the rockets have gone unless they're actually in the hands of Ramirez. May have just used them out. No, I'm talking rubbish. It's actually going to be Septic on the opposing side, so he's looking to make something happen. You can see it coming up in the kill feed. That was a double kill there from Septic, who was cleaned up by Chalky afterwards. Yep. So at the moment, Andy, X-Men sitting quite pretty.
Yeah, they're very comfortable here as we go over to Chalky. And I tell you what, it ended up actually being that Snipe Drone was able to indeed rotate back. He continues his spree. He goes on a killing frenzy. He picks up a few rocket kills, and now they're in even better shape here. 34-21 is the score, and they remain now at 15 power weapon kills, which is a substantial amount for them here. Almost half of their kills have come from power weapons, which is a huge statement in a Slayer.
Once again, we will tee up a listen in this time with blue team, Team Vi, because everything's got a little bit quiet. This could be a nice kill for Septic. He makes it count. Double kill as well. Cracking little flank. Scopes in on one. Cleans up the second one as well. You know what, Andy? Let's jump on into a listening with Vibe and see how they're going to bring this one back.
Blue alley. He's weak by mid. Nice. Blue alley, go tower. Guys, we need to kill this guy tower. He's trying to get shot.
Watch out tower on me.
I got. Oh shit, rockets here. I got one rocket.
Nice.
Get that shotgun.
One, let's go.
I have one tower. I have one rocket, sorry, in tower. You guys can go outside.
Right side, watch your blue side.
Blue flag absolute, Rami.
Might be in the window.
Gonna be in the window, guys.
This is a tower push, man.
He's from blue on me, Andy.
Pushing.
Nice.
Okay.
I have not sniped.
Guys, new rockets at 2 minutes, yeah?
Yeah.
20 seconds.
Yeah.
The shotgun might be on route.
We need to get some quick
someone got that. So whoever's in tower should have got that. I'll go.
Push
That rockets case.
Yeah, shotgun, man.
I'm gonna go from pit. Give me a sec. What's in pit, Andy?
Turbine weak.
Watch out pit, Andy, guys.
One shot with turbine as well. Snipe Drone.
Nice, there's one dead. Stay alive as long as you can, Max. You got help on the way, There's two. Nice.
I'm pushing outside right, guys.
Outside still.
Outside red.
I got Chalky. Nice.
Let's go. Nice. Come on. Let's do this now. Let's go.
I need ammo, man.
I'm gonna die, man. Right, shotgun down. Cat, man. Tower side. Shotgun down on X, guys. Whoever's.
I can go.
Six.
I got
rockets.
I got it. I got it. Spawned it.
We have snipe, yeah? Right, we have everything.
I need someone to come with me rockets here.
Alright, yes. I'll hold outside.
Someone come with me tower.
Come in with you, Max.
You don't need to rush this, remember, yeah? You got plenty of time.
Sure. I'm just gonna scan behind us.
Scammy kill, man.
This guy blue cage.
You got sniped? Okay, yeah?
Yeah. Blue cage.
One's here.
Where?
Red.
Blow you, Max.
I'll do blue alley.
Nice, that's one. Let's go. 5 more.
One kill at a time, lads.
Yeah.
Bit by bit.
Just scan it behind.
1 minute, man.
One bullet. 1 minute, alright.
You got loads of bullets.
1 minute.
Oh, please, bullets.
Crouching bottom tower, guys.
I'm above blue cage.
Don't.
50 seconds remaining on the clock. 5 kills needed. They need 1 kill every 10 seconds if they want to make this one work. They have the weapons. They don't have the time, though. Unfortunately, Snakey's going to find 2 on blue bend. Then we see Lunny getting backed off. Another one will go down in form of Riots. That was the push that they needed to win the game. Unfortunately for me, didn't go their way. And now we're left with Septic, who's just going to go beelining that. And it was the push if they wanted to do it, and it didn't go their way.
And I think Riots was even in the basement, trying to hit some rockets that I don't believe even connected. Players jumping over them. So now 41-34. It's all but over here for Vibe as Xmen looks to finish strong. They held off that rush very well. Only 10 seconds left.
Yeah, this is just running the clock down now. 42-35. Nowhere can they bring this one. Ramirez trying to land the final shot, but you know what? He knows that's game and set. Game 2 going in the form of Xmen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all tied up. Interesting stuff.
Yes, indeed. I think, as we looked at the stats, Vibe obviously didn't want to play either Truth or Eden Slayer. They were forced to pick which one they wanted to, but at the end, and it was Eden that they picked. However, with a 1-2 record during the regular season, that was a bit reflected in that last match. Some of the key stats that I'm taking a look at here on our dash, I tell you what, 16 power weapon kills is how they ended. So Vibe with 7 power weapon pickups. This is once again, the whole story has flipped. Vibe with 7 power weapon pickups and only 10 kills. On the other side, it's Xmen with only 3 power weapon pickups, but 16 kills, right? 16 kills out of 3 weapon pickups is pretty incredible. A lot of that is due to what you're looking at right now on your screen. That's Snipe Drone and his killing frenzy.
14-5. You called it out. Killing frenzy down in the corner. Randy suicide from Jimbo, but you know what? We'll let it go. He would have been at the top hadn't he got that one. 14-9 from him. 9, 6, 11 from his teammates. And then down the board we look 11, 10, 8, and 6. But credit where credit's due to the Vibe guys. They were only just negative. Very, very close game. A lot of stuff to own, but when you look at the assists as well, certainly Ramirez there, chucking 9 on the board, almost hitting double-digit figures. 42-35, it's still a close game. It's not, time got the better of them then. They had to go, and they had to go there and then. Yeah. There was no more messing around. That was the push. do or die. Unfortunately, did not go their way. Had they had a little bit more time, they had the rockets, they had the sniper, they may have been able to kind of put something better together, but the pressure was certainly on them.
Yeah, I think the one thing that was tough was, I mean, Snaky comes around that corner and he's immediately lit up the second he even popped in. Another stat I have to point out, lastly, in that game, when we take a look at the guys on Xmen, 2 players crossing the 2,000 damage threshold, and on the other side, on Vibe, no players able to defeat that. So not only did they have, the power weapon control, but also really in the assist category and the damage dealt, they really ran the board.
All right then, guys, Game 3 is about to go live. It's going to be a Strongholds. Take a look at the vetoes. First up, we had Xmen. They took out the Rig. Then they moved up to the Vibe. They took out Plaza. Back to Xmen. They decided to eliminate Empire Stronghold. So we are going on a back-to-back Eden. We just seen Slayer. We're now going to move into a Strongholds. How do you feel on Bryce's quote earlier on, Brav, where if you're confident that you've taken one map, you're playing the same map again, does that give you confidence going into it?
Before you even said what the Brycey quote was, I could tell you that I disagree with it. No, I'm just kidding. I think, it really depends. It really depends on the map. It really depends on the team. And it really depends on the matchup that's at hand. We saw yesterday, for example, Dinosaurs, when they would play a CTF, they're going to win that CTF every time, but if they play a Slayer, that really wasn't the case. So I think there's one thing that kind of goes into it. It's if you just won an objective game on a certain map, you have to feel good about what's to come, and the same can be said about Slayer, but it's going to come down to exactly how that game is played, because as any longtime Halo players will appreciate, the way that a map plays with a certain game type can be completely different, right? The rules that apply here on Eden Strongholds are vastly different from what you can get away with in Slayer. The routes you can take, the things you need to watch, right? The sight lines that are really important and pivotal in the game, those are slightly different when we go from game type to game type.
Taking a look at some of the team facts, Snapdrum and Jimbo, highest placing Europeans at HWC Finals, played more capture the flag than any other team, winning 61%. And of course, all 4 players attended the HWC Finals on 2 different teams. We got at the end there, Ramirez and Chalky, who were on Team Infused, and then the Epsilon boys of the Jim Drone combo at the front. Certainly a team of 2 duos. These guys have, I think, the last between, I want to say at least a minimum 7 to 10 events. They have not teamed apart.
And I have to say, looking at the last game stats once again, Snipe Drone and Jimbo were the 2 players to cross the 2,000 damage threshold, and they both tied the game for most kills with 14 apiece. So, they are looking like quite a tandem.
All right, then, let's see what this tandem team can do. We're moving back into Eden. This time it's going to be an objective. It's going to be Strongholds. The first to 100 points, of course, will claim victory and take the lead as we are in stalemate, 1 map apiece. The time will tick down a lot faster the more plots that you do have in hand. If you control 2 plots, you will get some time. If you have 1, you will not. But if you have 3, the time will tick even faster. When you go grab a stronghold, the more players you have dogpiling into that stronghold, the faster it will transfer into your team's hand.
That's right, and I think we saw last game that Ramirez redeemed himself. His final numbers in the game were 9 and 11, but of course, a lot that went into the positioning that he played, as they had quite a strong game. So we'll have to see if Chalky and Ramirez can do that once again. But I also got to point out off screen, it's Ramirez with the camo. Let's go over to him.
And Ramirez just gives some great, truly great support to Chalky there. He was on the back foot. He was 1 shot. And not only did he get the kill, but he actually got the red nest as well. He's going to hang around this corner. He's going to find Septic. I'm very surprised he didn't go for those rockets. He may have been a nice opportunity to go and grab them with camo. No one can see him, but he's going to leave them instead. We then see Septic there, who's just anchoring Blue Bend. He's going to put some good shots on Snipe Drone. Snipe Drone's going to call for help, but there's 3 people coming off of the Blue Bend push. Great cheeky flank here. However, you can hear and you can see up in the top left there, his camo is flashing. You can see the eye in the sky, which means it's about to come visible to all players. And once again, when he stands up, he will be back on that radar.
And right now, once we see how this play resolves here, I think we might see, it looks like, I thought for a second, Ramirez is going to get the Ninja. Not the case, though, but it's Riot who has the rocket. So let's see if he puts these to use.
Looking to try and take down this red nest at the moment, because they are getting 0 points on the board. 15 and slowly ticking away for Xmen. They need to grab something. He's got these rockets, 2 guaranteed kills. This could possibly be a triple cap as well, as I can see the blue bend is being transferred. Triple cap in his effect, and now, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see in the corner that will tick up at 2 points a second.
That's right now. As you see, finally, Riots and Vibe will get that nest, so that will slow down the total control quite a bit. Looking across, it looks like Rocket's really the only weapon in play right now. On the other side, Chalky does have an SMG in hand, so we'll go over to Jimbo for the first time in this match.
Yeah, Riot's kind of floating around out in the open down bottom mid. Not necessarily the place you want to be, especially when you've got Rockets as well. Jim with a dominant perfect shot, takes down one, leans across, gets the call out for the support, picks up the dirty double as well, and will allow his teammate to turn that back and get the full reset.
And I love the angles he's playing. He's playing deep on the catwalk. That way he cannot be seen from that red base, from that red nest. He also is going to grab camo here. I believe that's the second camo in a row here for Xmen, but I gotta say I love where Jimbo is playing that, because too often does a player at catwalk get picked off by a player who's desperately jumping out of the window to finish the kill. So Jim does really well. He just backs off, especially because camo's coming up. He goes through the tower door, and now look at this. They have control. They finally lose blue bend, so the enemy team's going to score, but Jimbo doing quite well with his squad.
This is a very nice place, though. 2 people are running along the mini cat. They've no idea where he is. He's just going to crouch down for a second. I'm surprised he didn't give him the backpass as he went past. Just a second too early.
Wow.
Will throw his head out the way, though. He managed to stay alive. Picks up another one as well. Oh, my holy Jimbo.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's a fantastic play. He jumps right back in. He backs down for a second. I think the opponents thought he was going to wait for the grenades to fly in. Instead, he just doubles back. At the same time, unfortunately for Vibe, Riots, I believe it was Septic as well, had the same plan. So Jimbo right now really taking advantage of the fact that quite a creative game is going on the Vibe, excuse me, quite a chaotic game on the Vibe side is happening right now.
But once again, he'll catch 2. He'll then scope in. He's just going to use his stabilizers and then thrust across. Another double kill as well. Jimmy at the moment is absolutely tearing Vibe into pieces.
And a lot of that is exactly, first of all, how he's moving across the map. You just saw a lot of stabilized clambers to move straight from Red Nest all the way to Cat. But also, he's putting himself in areas where he cannot get clipped off of spawn. Where the enemy team is spawning, he's really avoiding specific sight lines. And if you play a lot of Eden, you know exactly what I mean. There's a lot of times where when the enemy team is spawning, he does not want to avoid certain lines, right? He's staying back here so he can't be clipped from blue window. Earlier when we saw him deep on the catwalk, it's a lot of expertise like that that goes into successful games like this, how they're leading 69-2.
But they've pushed in super, super deep. They did start to take the control of blue bend. He did go down, get the reset. The Rockies are up indeed. I'm actually seeing off the off screen as well. Just want to let you guys know Ramirez is shooting bodies quite meticulously and letting him know that they are successfully in control of this game. How Jim is still alive, please no. Oh my God! Jim! Jim, please, why is this even happening? No, triple kill as well! And he's still no shield! What is this man doing?
Well, that's a fantastic use, right? Timed that overshield perfectly. He's able to grab that and just eliminating opponent one after another. Now look, I mean, Snicky's flying out of the base. He's going to keep defense on Blue Bend quite easily. 85-2 with total control. His teammate Snipe Drone still has the rockets, but to be honest, he doesn't know what to do with them because Jimbo's been taking all the kills.
How did he stay alive? That was, he had, what? You know, he got the reversal down at the bottom with the SMG, and from that, he transferred that into a triple kill with still no shield.
Yeah, I think it was exactly, well, he timed that overshield pickup perfectly is what happened. He was able to grab that OV and turn that, you know, and start to really string the kills together, but they're only a few seconds away from closing this out.
Yeah, you can see the scoreboard there. It kind of says it all. 98-2. This was a dominant performance from the Xmen. They're going to take that one over 100 points to 2. As you can see on screen, Jake White, a.k.a. Chalky, the man, the myth, the legend. He's always won, win or lose, will quite happily get his team hyped up.
And I tell you what, wait till you see when we pick up these, when we look at these stats, because they're quite telling of what we just saw. Really unsurprisingly, though, if you look at that final scoreline of 100-2, but it's Jimbo who went 16-3. Quite a dominating performance from him. Also got to point out the power-up pickups. We had 5 from Xmen, only 1 on the Vibe side.
10, 16, 6, and 7. Big Jimmy putting in some big numbers there. 6 assists as well. Only 3 deaths. Positive 13. That is a massive round from him.
I mean, completely outslayed. They were completely outplayed. Whether you're, you know, when we actually look at the actual kill death, this is how much they were outslayed. 39-17. into Strongholds, there is no way that you're going to win a game unless you have some pretty crafty strategies that are unbeknownst to you and I when you're getting outslayed 39-17.
Yeah, massive numbers. 3 kills for Riots, 3 kills for Septic. Not a great game from them. Down at the bottom, 3 and 12 for Mr. Septic there. 3 and 10 for Riots. 5 and 9 Lunny, and of course Snaky at the top there, but still going negative by 2. I've got to say, I'd be concerned if they play them at Strongholds again.
Oh, me as well. It was a dominating performance. They controlled the map of the game in every single way, really, and I think the 100-2 scoreline tells that story. They did it in under 6 minutes.
Fantastic work. We're going to be rolling this one into game number 4 very, very shortly. And yeah, I mean, we saw the beating that Vibe gave them at the start. That'll give Vibe an awful lot of confidence. You know, we saw them pumped up. We saw them not necessarily trash talking, but getting quite verbal and letting them know their presence in the arena. But the one thing that I always call out, and it's one thing that I have a lot of respect for him, and when you look at a team like earlier on, we looked towards, you know, Team Infused. When they were losing or when they were winning, they were quite quiet. They was very just focused, wanting to get into the game and do what they do. Win or lose, you will always see this team getting up, getting hyped. Ramirez will say, let's shrug it off, we move forward, we cruise on in. Across the Vibe side, things have quietened down just a tad, but it's not over. You know, we're only in game number 4. There's still everything to play for and everything on the line.
That's the case indeed. I mean, looking at those stats once again, it's very rare that we see this. But the stats team just let us know. I mean, you have Snaky was the best player on that team in terms of kills and deaths, and he did go negative. I mean, 6 and 8, very low numbers, especially when you're looking at Jimbo at 16 and 3 and Chalky at 10 and 3. So, of course, the gentlemen on Vibe are going to be looking to do a very similar performance here. As we look to map number 4, it's going to be CTF Truth.
Yeah, these were, as you saw for the previous game, map number 3. We look towards number 4 and see how this one played out when it came down to the vetoes. I believe it's going to be Capture the Flag on Truth. It's the only map that we saw with which is solo, is what I'm trying to say. All the rest of them are 2-2-2. This is the only solo map on its own. We'll get the map for vetoes for you guys at home in just a second and bring them up on screen. On screen right now, you can see left to right. That's going to be Snaky. Team captain bang in the middle. That's Septic. To his right, you see Lunny, and then you see the big arm on the end there, Mr. BDR, Big Daddy Riots on the end. And back of the stage with the headphones on, that's going to be Legend Baxter. Survived relegation on the final day of regular season. These guys are now guaranteed 3rd spot after the elimination of Team Infused. Features 3 members of the XL squad that attended the HWC final. Septic is the only difference on this, and all members have attended NA events, and quite a few of them have attended more NA events than what I have.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, of course, lots of LAN experience in them, and right now they have to be feeling pretty good after the performance that they just put on. But looking ahead now to CTF Truth as we take a look at the records. CTF Truth for Xmen, they are, I believe, 4-0 here, and they only vetoed it 13% of the time. Looking over to Vibe, they're 1-3, and they vetoed it quite a bit, around 30% of the time. So, you know, they've lost a fair bit here, so this could be an Xmen result. What do you want to kick things off with?
I think this time it'd be ignorant not to kick it off with Jimbo. He was on fire in that previous game. We got people in the crowd and we got some Vibe fans. Let's make some noise. We are moving in to game number 4. Let's get hyped. People in the chat, drop all your emotes as well. We are on Jimbo's POV. We'll get that camera changed in just a second because that is Lunny's camera. We are on Jimbo's POV. I absolutely guarantee you, though, he's going to grab the first flag of this game and start moving it over cat side.
Yeah, so far hasn't really met any resistance. Looks like a lot of his team did the work, did a lot of the work for him across there. But Jimbo will eventually fall, so we'll go over to Ramirez, who right now has sword in hand.
And he's been quite passive. He's going to get his shields back. Scoping. Doesn't matter. Gets the red reticle of death, and he does get the kill on Septic. We'll hold off for just a second. Carbine in the back pocket, grabs his shields back. We'll whip out the secondary weapon to look across the map, give his teammates some defense, and now he looks onwards towards the blue flag.
I gotta say, Snaky just now had the flag out, he had fuel rod, and he had camo, but that was all shut down there by the Xmen side.
But look at this, Andy. All 4 members are completely spread across top mid. You got, oh, shaky.
No!
Oh, nice shot, Ramirez. He will also jump on the E-line, missed that grenade, and here comes the... What?
He's totally, I mean, he's doing crazy things here, Sims. He's disregarding opponents. He's just flying across, but somehow he's doing flag skips we haven't seen here in Halo 5 and moving the flag across. This is one of the craziest and unorthodox flag caps I've ever seen in my life.
What just happened? Ramirez, please. That was truly incredible. Decided to ignore one player in the base and then turn around again.
I'll go ahead and say he's going to do it again. It's deja vu. He pulls it off again, but my goodness, that was one of the most ridiculous plays that I would never encourage those of you at home to pull off. I don't know how that actually happened, but Ramirez picking up 2 kills, in my opinion, he absolutely shouldn't have. Turns it into 2. And instead of even killing the player in the base, goes for the flag cap and somehow makes it happen. So Ramirez knows something and I don't.
And no disrespect to Ramirez, but when Ramirez is doing that to your team in your own base, grabbing a flag and then putting it in and coming back for more, there's something wrong. Rami's not known for being the super aggressive Slayer, but right there, he was doing some absolute work, tanking the Vibe members inside their own base. Jim's trying to get a crafty nade off on top. He can back that off of the wall. He gets the last shot on Lunny, puts one between the eyes, seals the deal, and now he's going to try and bank off, which he does, banks it off the car pillar and makes it up to car 3. Sorry, excuse me, P3.
Yes, a nice little slide jump, thrust jump you can use to get up to ping 3, but Jimbo will eventually fall. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other side. Now on board with Sneaky.
Going to grab the Hydra. No, he's not. He's going to ignore it. It's certainly an unorthodox weapon, but a lot of people know how to use it and make something happen. He's met with the defense. The bouncer down at the bottom of red. He gets taken down. Riot's going to try and clean up Chalky across the map. He just decides to thrust back. He did have 3 bullets left in the chamber. He probably could have got that if he would have carried on shooting. Going to try and make something happen in the Eli. He's got some support as well from a teammate behind him.
That's right. Now, of course, nice use of that splinter grenade, but it's not going to be easy when you have 2 opponents pushing you like that. So now over to his teammate, Lunny, who we haven't been on board with this game yet.
But he's in the opposing team's base at the end of the day. It needs to be very careful. He don't want to match these 2 guys. He's going to pull this. I would expect him just to throw it and probably crouch. There's the crouch. Snipe drone's coming in. Try and go for the GPK. Doesn't quite manage it, but he does at least tank Lunny up. So he's now 1 shot, just looking for somebody to give him some support. Lunny's going to go in Storm Rifle versus Storm Rifle, but Jimbo gives him the elbow to the jawline, takes him down. Hop across Ramirez, doing exactly the same thing as what he did previous.
That's right. This flag run looks awfully similar. He's going to bring it across here uncontested. I don't think it's a stealth cap. Yes, it is. It is a stealth cap. Not shot once all the way home. So Ramirez really stepping up when it counts here. They lead 2-0.
Second time in a row. And the one thing I want to say is running those flag bounces absolutely perfect. More importantly, when we talk about the stealth cap, Andy, this kind of speaks real volumes about his team, that they're getting in the right positions. They are slaughtering Vibe, and they are not allowing him to touch Ramirez while he's doing this.
Oh, it's true. I mean, there's a reason that Ramirez is getting away with things that could be described as slightly ridiculous, and that's because his team is setting up so well around him. They lead here 2-0. They also lead the series 2-1.
We've not actually been really on board with Vibe, much to be honest with you. I don't think we really should when Jimbo's just doing things like this, and they are absolutely dumping on Vibe. This is night and day compared to what we saw in game number 1. All the power weapons, all the power-ups, everything is in control of the Xmen. They look like a different team to what we've been witnessing. Jimmy's going to drop down. He's going to clean up the half-shields guy. Grab the fuel rod as well, and when you've got an invisible man running around with a fuel rod, it's all kind of dangerous.
That's a great play from Jimbo, right? He goes to get the camo. Instead of necessarily pushing up, he does a full 180, looks back towards his base. He sees there's a fuel rod beneath, so he just plays it slow. He ends up getting the upper hand against the player. He gets some help from a teammate as well. He's going to clean up 2 here, I believe. And, I mean, look at him. Every second, it feels like he is shooting, and his team is always there to support him.
Every time we go as well, I think more than anything, I feel like his gun's just got pure auto aim. How this man listens, everywhere he looks, Andy, he's always looking towards one of his teammates or one of the enemy teams. You can hear the call-outs. His communication, his teamwork is absolutely on point. He's now going to flip around, gets the call out of the person behind him, killing spree as well. Going to go toe-to-toe with Sneaky, challenging it. How many times, how many double kills have we seen, Andy?
That's right, that was all 4 dead, by the way, so they are going to be in a pretty good position to run this home as Jim has support from his team. When you have all 4 dead and you're pulling the flag at the same time, this really should be it.
I really like the net. You did probably just cop for it then. He decided just to twist to the left a little bit while he was running it underneath the car. He ducked in where the soul spawned, got his shields back for just a second. He allowed him a little bit of enough to carry on, dropped it as he got in the base. His teammate were there to collect. There you have it. We're going to see Game 4 going to the Xmen.
Yeah, they played it well. I mean, what can you say? 3-0 with that win. They did it in just under 6 minutes, I believe, and pretty even in a bunch of different categories there. To be honest, the kill differential isn't too great. but that really didn't matter. It was about, I believe, let's see, 42 to 34 in favor of Xmen in terms of overall kills.
12 and 12 down at the bottom there for Snipe Drone going neutral. We see 15 and 7. Jim, the man of the hour, the myth, the legend during that game. But big shout out to Ramirez. I still kind of can't understand what was going on with the sword at the start of that.
It's, I think the word we used during the match was unorthodox several times, and that's exactly what it was. I mean, Ramirez, it looked like some wild, bizarre matchmaking stunts that we were seeing.
It was no fear more than anything. It was jump out, challenge, trust in what he can do. And there are even certain points where I thought, okay, he's getting a bit giddy here, because when he run into the base, he literally just run past that initial. It just run past him, didn't he? And then his teammate had to.
And when you have a sword, I mean, it's very quick to just because he got meleeed anyway. There's no point in not laying down. Maybe his hope is that he wouldn't get meleeed and that he would have shields for the flag run, which I may be giving him too much credit, but regardless, he did it well.
Either way, it worked. Yep. We will see Game 4 going into the Xmen now. Oh, it's getting crunch time now for Team Vibe. Can we see the Xmen go all the way? We'll bring you up the map layout in just a second. For if you are joining us, we'll show you guys at home how this one has been playing out. Welcome along. And it's that time's ticking on a little bit now, so quite a few of the NA community will be waking up. We welcome you to the EU HCS Pro League Finals. This, of course, is your loser bracket finals. The team who does go out of this will be going home, and whoever wins will be going on to the grand finals to re-face Fab. Ian, honestly, I would be concerned because both of these rosters have been 4-0'd today.
Yeah, and then one thing I got to point out from that last match, you know, if you are on Xmen, you expect Jimbo to really step up for you, and he went 15 and 7 in that last game as well, leading the game and his team, of course, in both kills and deaths. Now looking at the score so far, man, it really started off with a strong Vibe opening, but it's been a very different story so far. I mean, my heavens, look at these scores, and you know they're getting worse and worse as we go here in terms of the amount of points that Vibe is able to put on the board against Xmen.
Vibe 3-0, Coliseum capture the flag, 42 to 35. Then to Xmen when we went into Eden Slayer. The scoreline, everything kind of passive down towards that, but they still came out victorious, 100 to 2 as we went into another Eden. That was on Strongholds. Xmen really turning up the heat underneath Team Vibe, and then as we've just witnessed, a very quick and clean 3-0 on Truth capture the flag. We're now going into a Plaza Slayer. Andy, do you have any initial thoughts on this matchup?
You know, I think in Plaza we could see things go either way, but let's take a look at the stats and see exactly where these teams have been so far as we take a look at this. It's going to be a Slayer here on Plaza now taking a look, and it looks like Vibe is actually 0-3. They vetoed it 25% of the time, and we have Xmen 1-0, possibly, 1-1, and they've vetoed about 28% of the time. So they both equally dislike the game type. However, Xmen does have the regular season advantage.
You can see there on the vetoes, this is how we got here. So game 2, there is nothing on that because we have already played an Eden Slayer. We came in with the Xmen with their first ban. They took out Coliseum. Vibe then moved into taking out the Rig, then back to Xmen who disqualified Regret, and then finally back to Vibe who took out Truth, which led us to this. We are on Plaza Team Slayer. Plaza myself, you got to remember, we've got a sniper rifle on there, and Mr. Michael Jerichow, aka Snipe Drone, has been hitting some rather disgusting shots. But you know what? They still can't take this for granted. They need to get this over and done with if they want to book a ticket in the grand finals, but they've got to be careful of Septic. This man earlier on, the shots that he was pulling off were truly, truly incredible.
Yeah, they certainly have the momentum here, of course, after 3 wins in a row in this series. Only one more to close it out. Vibe has their backs against the wall, and then they really need to turn it on right now because there is no turning back after this. Going to go ahead and see which team is going to be able to control. Of course, the Overshield and the Sniper are going to play a huge role here.
Team Slayer, of course, first to 50 kills. We will be kicking things off with not necessarily Team Captain Ramirez, but certainly one who can add a lot of maneuverability to this roster and a lot of direction. He's going to get tanked up down from loop, and he will drop instantly. Jimbo's going to go toe-to-toe. Jimbo does go down, but you know what? Snipe Drone comes in. He cleans up both of the kills to get revenge for his teammates. He's now looking towards the sniper area. Not entirely sure who picked up the sniper rifle. Andy, I don't know if you can see it across the board.
Yes, indeed. It's Septic, so we'll go ahead and show you the angles he's looking at. The other thing I was checking was Overshield did indeed get an early burn, so we're not going to see that for a little while. Sniper rifle is really the only item in play right now.
I'm not entirely sure which player that was, but there were some cracking shots down there for a loop. They just flew through the air, tanked up Septic to at least put him back on a bit more pressure. Here comes the rotation. Didn't quite land the clamber on the ledge there. He's going to scope up and get himself into Cafe. Really try and just get himself positioned on this map, but he needs his teammates to work around. We can hear the grenades going off.
Wow.
What? Tags up a second one as well. He did get that kill. I have no idea how he managed it, but he landed it in the face. He's banking some nades. He's also getting hit markers, so he knows that guy's going to be extremely low. He's hiding in the corner, but you know what? Septic jumps up, domes Jimbo in the face and says, not today, my friend.
He is sniffing everything out. He got hit markers on every no-scope just now and every grenade. He just threw, I believe, 3 no-scopes and 2 nades. They all got hit markers, so anything he does will land. So right now, of course, Xmen need to be careful. It's all tied up, those 6-6. Jimbo had a great start earlier with a nice double kill, but I'm keeping an eye on that overshell timer as well. It's up in exactly 36 seconds.
He needs to be extremely careful, though, of Septic. They can't let him get set up. His teammates do need to help him out. And at the moment, we kind of saw in Cafe there, Andy, they were all kind of dogpiling into him and trying to get the sniper out of his hands, trying to take him down. But in doing so, they actually fed him, and now they've got the lead 8-7.
That's it, right. Of course, we're going to see the game slow down just a bit for a second, as Septic is going to continue to keep this sniper rifle in hand. Mike, if he's able to stay alive for another second, I said we go to observer mode here, so we'll see exactly where his opponents are. He doesn't realize there's one right here.
He's going to tag that up, not waste a second bullet. He'll then whip out his BR to finish it off. Chalky's crawling around the corner, storm rifle in hand. You can just see all the blue bits of flame coming towards him. He's still getting tagged by Chalky. Chalky's chasing. He's going to duck down, go one-on-one with Lunny. Lunny will come out on top of that as he's got an AI in his back pocket. Will now move to Lunny. Will find himself the sniper rifle, but only 2 bullets remaining. Tries to get a no-scope on Ramirez. Comes flying out the spawn off of the yard. He's now going to rotate around, just listen for the call out, support his teammates, and I believe that's Snaky with the next OS.
Yeah, Snaky got that overshield right around the second that it dropped. He did die, but not before he got quite a little spree. As we take a look at exactly what he's done so far, Snaky able to get 4 kills total right now. So second place on his team, of course, Septic, the one you saw earlier with 6.
As you can see then, you heard it in the comms, 10 seconds to sniper rifle. So we'll tee up and we'll queue up a listen-in with Blue Team Vibe. And we'll get that one locked and loaded in just a second, see how they extend this lead, because currently they're sitting comfortably. You know, they've got the cinema stairs covered, they've got all the cinema covered. The sniper rifle's about to pop. We're more than likely going to, we're not actually going to bang the ammo in, because there's now 2 sniper rifles in place. So we're going to go ahead, we'll put observer mode on, and we'll also jump into a listen-in.
Bottom green's going to take
top mid, Mike.
I got it, this guy.
We can slide
That's
the same stairs, Andy. I got
2 dead, good shit.
I don't know where you've been shot from. I think he's gone. S4.
I've got a feeling.
Blue window, 1 shot, blue window, 1 salute, dip 1 shot.
Yeah, it's dead.
Killed, good shit.
It's a blue shot, Mike. Weak, 2 shot. Absolutely.
Nice.
Gold, I think gold.
I'm watching gold, Mike.
Keep it up, keep switching. Perfect.
Okay, I'm coming to you, man.
Guys, OS 50.
Just hold this, man.
What's that?
There's two backyard. Why don't you top gold, man? Top gold, Andy. He knows it, man. This guy driveway. To fucking... He's got 2 search up. There's 2 on me, man. There's 2, man.
Guys, OS is about 49.
We didn't need to push that. We did die. One shot. Nice kill. Fucking sick. They're 49.
OS, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, no, man. Blue. Top gold. Top now. Top mid. And cider.
You getting it?
No, there's man. They got it. It's Jimbo.
Yeah, 1 shot, you're absolute.
He's pushing low.
Push you. Mark out, Jason.
Sniper blue.
2 guys.
All right, now you see as they've lost the lead there. They were up 20-12, if I'm not mistaken, just now. Let's go over to the other side. I do believe it was 20-12 in favor of Vibe. All of that has turned around, and if I have to say, part of it is due to the fact that Lunny missed that jump to overshield. I think his teammates expected him to grab that. He was unable to do so. It definitely cost them on the scoreboard. We're essentially all tied up here. It's 23-24.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky. He missed the initial jump, and as he went down as well, 3 others then dogpiled to try and grab the OS, but unfortunately they give away some easy kills. Now we're on board with Snipe Drone. He's got the sniper rifle in hand. We've got Ramirez, who's just kind of covering his backside down in the hotel. Someone's up in the cafe. He's been tagged up as well. Look for Ramirez to go and try and clean that one up, or at least just anchor a little bit more on cafe side and make his way out of the hotel just to apply that tiny bit of pressure, which he does.
Yeah, and I want to go ahead and move off of the sniper. We've done a lot this weekend showing the sniper anchoring. Instead, let's show some of the players who have to have the brave job of pushing into cafe and into yard, into flowers, and to pick up these kills. So it's 27-25 right now, and I mean, Xmen has totally stolen this game back from Vibe. They look so strong in those opening minutes. But one thing I got to point out, it's Jimbo. He's already 11-6 at this point in the game.
Jimmy. This has been his series. But as you mentioned, you call it perfectly, Andy. Someone like Ramirez now, what he's doing is helping his team to get these kills and to get this lead. He transitioned over from Sniper. He then moved down to the hotel to give a little bit of coverage for Sniper, who had the Sniper. He then moved in to the cafe to take down that one guy who's been a nuisance. He then locked the cafe down himself.
Yep.
And now he's just being aggressive on Yard.
And I got two things. Overshield, first of all, in 5 seconds, just about right now, so keep an eye on that. Also, it's Snipe Drone, who has double sniper ammo on the other side, and he's miraculously staying alive. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Now we're on Snipe Drone with double sniper ammo. Overshield should be up. Yes, indeed, it is available. So it's going to be Chalky, his teammate, who grabs it as well. So all things still going in favor of Xmen.
Riots is going to come down with the ground pound. He does get tagged, but you know what? He's very, very weak. That OS got burnt rather quickly. I'm assuming the sniper rifle will have transferred to another player, possibly other on Vibe. Snipe Drone did have it. He's coming back to try and retrieve it. Snaky will jump up from... Down he goes from S1. He manages to at least poke up. Grenades come in. He's kind of just tagged up his teammates. It was a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, it was Lunny who had the sniper rifle, but now it's Jimbo who's actually cleaned him up, picked it up, and now they're up 37-29. Xmen running away. I mean, Vibe was looking so strong in the opening. I mean, one of the best games that one of the best openings in a game that we've seen from them. But now, I mean, look at Jimbo. He's also got help. Might even take down Heavens.
Please
Forbid no. Riots here. Killing spree. Perfect kill. Reversal and a smile on his face. He can't believe it himself.
Oh my God. Get wrecked, Riots. That was incredible. Not only was the reversal, but it was the perfect as well. What a way to rack up some medals and what a way to put on a show. 41-30. Remember, guys, this is Vibe's elimination matchup. If they lose this, they are going home.
Let me tell you, Jimbo right now at 19 kills and 7 deaths as he continues to rack this up. Just to point this out, nobody has even hit 10 kills on the other side of Vibe.
This is a bit of a mess. Only 8 more kills, and Jimbo and the merry men of Xmen will be going to the grand finals to try and take down, once again, Fab E. We got Snipe Drone crouching down over in the cafe, trying to look to get a flank. Jimbo's going to push down behind the truck just to try and get an angle. See if anyone was down on driveway. Now 2 players will advance aggressively. You can see they're working in tandem. Ramirez is going to push driveway.
Jeez.
Oh,
I mean,
what?
He had his reticle exactly where he knew a crouching player might be coming across. It's almost as if he knew that that's exactly what his opponent would be doing as he's teeing these up. Well, I got to point out once again, Overshield is coming up in just about a few seconds, right about 5. So keep an eye on that mark, right about the 3:40 mark.
Flick of the wrist. He makes it look easy. He just clipped him, took his face off. Jim cleans up there. Here's the call out from his coach when the OS is going to come up, and now he knows he can just charge. They only need 3 more kills. 2 more kills now. This is pretty much game, set, and match. Will get taken down at loop. Only 2 more kills, Andy.
That's right. I mean, look at that. The triple-double medal as well. That means he's got right there 21, 8, and 10.
49-35. They only need 1 more, and this will send Vibe home. Xmen looking to get themselves towards the grand finals to have another go at Fab E. 21 kills, I believe I'm seeing from Jimbo at the top there. He has been putting in some meaty work. He's all kind of backed off for a second. 3 minutes remain on the clock. This is all but done. They need to find this final kill. If I were them, I'd just push one and get it over and done with.
That's what they're doing, actually. Jimbo and Chalky are just running around the yard, and I think it might be Chalky to finish as they're just pushing loop here. They might try to close this out. Yes, indeed, and that's it. Xmen will win this series with a score of 4-1 and easily take them down in that Game 5. It's 50-36, our final score.
Commiserations to Team Vibe. They have turned up this event and done a lot more and put a lot of pressure on some of these bigger teams when many people did count them out. But of course, it is the Xmen that come out on top, and they will get another shot at Fab E. That is going to be a really fantastic game, because I tell you what, Andy, some of those players are starting to heat up.
Yeah, I got to say, if there's one player who's doing it, it's Jimbo. 21 kills, 8 deaths, 10 assists in that match. Such an impressive performance from him as we take a look across the board now. And I have to say, some of his other teammates did well, but really Snipe Drone right there going 12-6, only 2 assists from him. And Ramirez and Chalky really held it down in the assist category, but it's safe to say that Jimbo carried his team pretty hard there. Other players on the other team only hitting the 10 mark right at the end.
Yeah, his backpack's pretty well full there, just carrying him on. Of course, it's a team game, and you mentioned it perfectly there, Andy. It all comes down to the assist. They were all helping each other out, and we've mentioned it before, half of these things they wouldn't have been able to do had not they had that level of teamwork. So congratulations once again to the Xmen. They will be going forward to the grand finals. But the whole story of this is they're going down. They've already been beaten by Fabi 4-0. So if they want to take them down, they need to beat them by another 4. And if they do, we're going to get the bracket reset.
Right.
They've got a lot of work. They need to take 8 games off of Fabi. That is not easy.
Oh, it's not going to be easy at all. I don't think taking a single game off of the Fabi that we've seen all weekend long is going to be easy. But if we say one thing about Xmen, it's that in those last 4 games, to win that series convincingly is very important for them, right? If that had gone to a Game 6, a Game 7, that doesn't bode very well. Now we finally have a reference point. Fabi 4-0'd both of the teams that you just watched. Now we know that Xmen's able to 4-1 vibe. That tells us, right, that Xmen might have a step above. They may be the better squad of the 2 that lost. So Xmen needs to ride that momentum and that confidence from the past 4 games straight into the next series.
All right, then, guys, I do believe we have an interview ready, but just before we go down, Andy, that was your last series of the day. I want to say thank you very much for joining us in the UK.
Oh, you bet.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We hope we've seen some good European Halo action.
Oh, we certainly have. I think I may be on the desk for one more, the analysis desk for the last series. I'll be able to watch it as you guys bring us the action. Excited to see it. But, you know, it's been a fantastic show so far, and I can't wait to see if Fabi can continue this dominance and really roll it straight into the fall season.
All right, then, guys, before we get on with the grand finals, let's take it to the floor with an interview with Jimbo.
Thank you very much, Sims and Bravo. Jimbo, welcome to the Pro League Final. You're going to be there. You're going to be playing in our next match, which is the European Pro League Final. Xmen have remembered it's a LAN, and you can do this, right?
Yeah, for sure. If we keep on playing the way that we're doing, then I definitely think we can at least do a better performance against Fabe. Obviously, like losing to them 4-0 was just not good. We went in after that series, before this series here, we said we didn't even deserve to play Fabe the way we played. I think after the way we played against Fabe, we definitely deserve to play against them. I definitely think we can do a lot better than we did before and hopefully take the W.
Yeah, let's rewind the series. You go down 4-0 against Fabi. How have you got your heads up from that? Because I hope you don't mind me saying, but I saw you earlier on back in the other part of the studio, and you had your head down, like you were just, I don't know whether you were thinking that thing or whether you were gutted from it. Where were you at?
It's never fun losing, especially to players that we haven't really. We respect them, but at the same time we haven't online. Obviously, after this event, we've built one line, and they've played very, very well. So it's fair play to all the players on Fab. Yeah, it just sucks losing, but I feel a lot more pumped now after that game and confident.
So how did you guys get together after losing 4-0 to Fabi? What did you do to get yourselves together to beat Vibe? Because I've had a chat with pretty much like most of the people here in the studio, analysts and some of these fantastic fans that we have here in the audience here as well. I've heard every combination for that series of 4-0, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3. You or Vibe winning. Nobody really knew where that was going to go. What did you do to put Vibe away?
So after we lost to Fabe, we just had a massive team talk, just work on us working together in twos, like talking to each other a lot more. Like our communication in the first in the series versus Fab was just not the way we wanted it to. So we went outside, we talked over how we wanted to go into the next series, what we needed to do to win, and I think we executed that fairly well. Apart from game one was a bit of a slow start, but after that, I think as soon as we started getting rolling, there was no stopping to that point.
100-2 on a Stronghold map. That's disgusting. This is a series. This is a season finals day. Like putting a team away 100-2. How is that done?
That's just Halo 5. You have momentum on this game, you carry it on forever. Like Strongholds specifically, you just as long as you have momentum, you get a good start. You just keep on slaying. You have momentum on the power ups or rockets, anything like that. You always get it as long as you have momentum.
And you had good sort of tactical play on the Slayer maps as well, particularly the earlier one, not the one we just finished on. But you guys knew you had it. You knew time was on your sides, and you just sort of like, come and get it. You're 6 kills behind us. If you want those 6 kills, come and get them.
Yes, Eden is a lot of the Slayer maps. You play a lot more fast-paced. Eden's one that we like to play a lot more slow-paced because we can keep control. We know exactly how to play it. I think Vibe knew how to play it as well. They're playing the same way, but I think we kind of it's weird to say this. We kind of out-camped them in a way. It's not really a good thing to say, but that's the way we had to do what we had to do to win. So we out-camped them on that one. We played it slow. That was our first win on Slayer on the tournament, and obviously we won the second one there. So we were quite pumped after that. But Slayer on Eden is very, very slow-paced, or the way we play it anyway.
Well, it worked for you. You're in our grand final. You're going to be playing Fabi again. We're all hoping for a fantastic final series. I know you won't be hoping it's going to go 4-0 against you again. So congratulations. And Jimbo, you're also the MVP of that series. Some absolutely fantastic multi-kills on every game type, on every map. Ladies and gentlemen, here at ESL Studio 1, Jimbo's the MVP of that series. And we have our final. Congratulations to you. and Xmen. And before we get to that all-important grand final, let's just go back to the desk with Brycey and we'll talk about how that series all came to a conclusion and how these guys got to that final.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, the Xmen there have set themselves up for a great sequel against FabE. And you know what? The Xmen certainly do have a rough history with sequels anyway. But you know what? Let's talk a little bit about how they did visit the apocalypse onto Vibe.
2 Xmen puns in that intro. What are your feelings on that?
I actually can't. I can't deal with you right now. Can you not?
No, I cannot. It's my little bit of fun. I enjoy it. It's a bonus they give me for dealing with you two.
I don't even want to
prefer
talk
it when
to you
you're horrible to me.
Yeah, can you just say mean things as long as it's not X-Men puns, please?
No, I've got about 1 billion more. We've got a final coming up with them in. Just wait for it.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Well, not.
Let's bring this wildly back into control now and talk a little bit about this game. So you thought X-Men were going to win it based on the maps. They did. They won 4-1. Is that pretty much how you expected it to roll out?
I called it 4-1. I got the maps wrong, though. I said Vibe would take one of the Eden maps. In fact, it was Xmen who were very solid on both Eden maps. It was game 1, actually, so Vibe coming out very, very strong. Xmen not starting out as well as they'd want to. Game number 1, it was pretty much the Septic show, to be honest with you. 16-8, the final scoreboard for him. A great performance out of him. But alongside him as well, Lunny. When you have 2 strong Slayers, Lunny went 17-11. So Septic with 16 kills, Lunny with 17 kills. When you're both like working in tandem like that and getting kills consistently, and all across the board really for Vibe, I really feel like that was just a recipe for success for them.
And another thing to note on this game type that I didn't really think about when we were in our pre-game was the fact that Vibe actually played this game type twice, essentially. In the last series against Infuse, they obviously had to replay it where they came out 3-0 winners in that replay. So if you're going to get some practice on a map to play it twice, I mean, they should have been confident going into this. It really showed. And you talked about how good Septic stats were in that. We talked about how important Snipe Drone could have been on the map. 7-5 Snipe Drone. Sorry, 7-15 Snipe Drone.
Well, speaking of Snipe Drone, moving on to the next map, a little bit of a Snipe Drone show. It was him all over. Sniper control, lethal. Every single highlight we have right here is just Sniper Drone. Finally, we have someone else. Septic got the sniper in the latter parts of the game, but look at the score right here, 23-35. It was very close, but it got to a point in the game number 2 on Eden Slayer. We're on Eden Strongholds at the moment, but Eden Slayer, it was 35-30, 2 minutes left, and there was no push out of Vibe. I'd like to see them speed that up a little bit more, but here we are on Eden Strongholds right here. This was domination. This really was. Yeah, this right here was the Jimbo show. I mean, it really was. 16-3 on a Strongholds game. He died 3 times the entire game. This triple particularly right here, where he grabbed the overshield mid multi-kill, was absolutely fantastic. And there you go, the triple kill from Jimbo. Yeah, exactly. And as we moved on to the next game, so this was the strangest. We were watching this in the green room and we could not believe what we were seeing. It seemed like Ramirez was missing everything, but then getting away with it somehow. And he eventually ran that flag in, but he managed to control all of those swords using that lunge very effectively as well. And Xmen actually came out really strong in this game. It was pretty impressive.
Rami run flag.
Rami run
like
flag.
Hulk smash. Rami no get killed. Rami run flag.
Yeah, pretty much what happened.
That's all he needed to do. But Jimbo, again, another stellar performance from him in truth. 15-7, so that's consecutive maps now. He's put up single-digit deaths with double-digit kills.
Very, very, very true. And as we see the end here, Jimbo was just on fire towards the end of this map. And talking about ending a game on fire, he really did carry the momentum into the last map as well.
Jimbo was on fire, and Vibe's defense was terrified, Mark.
It was indeed. That Will Grigg.
I'm sorry, I just had to throw it out there.
All right, moving on to the last map of this series then. Again, for me, I felt like this was the part where Xmen were just like, yeah, once they got control of this map and a little bit of a lead, it just felt so comfortable for them. They knew exactly what they had to do. Now, Vibe had a pretty good start, but the Xmen, I mean, they just sort of shrugged it off. I mean, they were like, yeah, okay, we've got this.
Yeah, basically, it was another case of the Jimbo show. I mean, it's the 3rd map in a row in this series, Game 3, Game 4, and Game 5, where Jimbo had double-digit kills and single-digit deaths. He went 21-8 in this game, I'm pretty sure. And look at these shots he's hitting right here. This is the losers bracket final of a pro league finals. This is for like all the props basically, and he's pulling off plays like that with stats like that. It's absolutely crazy.
Look at that at the end. It was the Jimbo highlight reel. It was as simple as that. And we need to highlight. Sorry, Max. We need to highlight the outshooting perfect reversal on one shot.
Yeah,
incredible play.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an interesting question. Did Xmen impress you enough to look more dangerous against FabE this time around? Because that's what we're going to be talking about going into the next game. Yeah. But that was a better show. I think individually, I mean, Jimbo just went massive for his team. But is that enough? Against a FabE that right now are looking untouchable.
More dangerous, definitely. They looked more dangerous in this series than they did in the FabE series. But you've got to remember, Fabi are still Fabi. They've not changed, and you've still got to play against them. They're absolutely unrelenting in their aggression, and I don't know, man. I still think it's a 4-0 for Fabi. I don't think it's changed my mind. Xmen will have to come out of the gates. I really feel like they'll have to take the first 2 game types to have a chance in beating Fabi in the series.
The fact they've got momentum going to the series now, I think, is going to be a big factor for them. We saw all of their hot players, their big players having big games in that series. So the likes of Snipedrone had a big game in that Eden. The likes of Jimbo finishing really, really hot. So that's going to make them feel a little bit better going into the series. But as we say, Fabi have been dominant so far.
They certainly have. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a little trip down memory lane. Let's look at the bracket and remind you how we've got to the grand final. Here it is. As you can see, we started off with Fab E versus Vibe. That was a hot 4-0, but Vibe still did look pretty good in that game. Then, Xmen versus Infused. Win for the Xmen. They end up going into that winner's bracket final. Fab E versus Xmen. Last time round, 4-0. So they ended up dropping down, facing a Vibe who come off a very narrow win against Infused. But they made it look simple. They went, you know what, we've got this in the bag. 4-1 for them against Vibe, which has, of course, left us with our grand final. For the Pro League Summer Finals here in Europe, it is going to be Fabi versus Xmen. Now, here's another interesting factoid. If Fabi win this flawlessly, they will have gone the entire season and the entire finals without dropping a map to anybody who qualified for finals. The only teams they've dropped maps for are the teams who didn't qualify for today.
Well, if that happens, you can't say they don't deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. And you also start having to think ahead. You have to think past Pro League, past everything like that, and you have to look forward to the next Halo World Championships. And the questions we have to start asking are, where do Fab E rank in the world rankings against all these North American teams in the Pro League? And that's going to be the big question, but they've got to get over this first hurdle here, which is going to be the first event win for some of these players.
Of course.
It most certainly does. Well, on a positive note as well, we have giveaways here at this wonderful finals, and just for the grand finals, we do of course have them. So for your chance to win Astros and Halo goodies, make sure you check out that link below, esl.gg/EU Finals HCS. And you can win yourself some lovely gear. It'd be great. And if you want to, you can donate to the Harry, because I feel like he needs some stuff.
I need free stuff. I'll always take free stuff. And rec packs as well. I need rec packs. I mean, I play Warzone all the time. I want rec packs. Give me the rec packs. I want skins as well.
All right, there is one last thing I want to talk about before we get ready for this grand final. Because we have kind of skipped over Vibe a little bit, I feel. We haven't talked a lot about them. But what do you think of Vibe coming out of the back of that? Was it just they were outclassed? Were they making a lot of mistakes? Where do they improve? And what do you think of them now?
For me, it was a case of all of the Xmen players just catching fire at different points. We saw, Jimbo going off, Snipedrone going off. We've talked about it before. And I think they kind of lost belief when they got sort of into the last few games there, where they got a bit of a crushing on that Strongholds game. It's so hard to come back. As Jim mentioned on stage in his interview, once you get momentum in Halo 5, it's difficult to stop players. And when they're pulling off sick plays, there's not really anything you can do when Jimbo and Snipedrone are going off. So.
Yeah, and when we were talking pre-tournament coming into finals, we always said there are kind of 2 tiers within these 4 teams. We've got Xmen and Fabi, who are now in the final. They're definitely our tier 1 teams here, and then Infused and Vibe just a little bit behind. I think we saw just Xmen outclassing Vibe in that series, but it was still a very strong showing from them, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I just kind of want to touch on it. I feel like that entire, in fairness, for a good reason.
Yeah.
That entire analyst segment was, wow, look how good the Xmen were and going off. And I just wanted to kind of touch base on Vibe to kind of feel out where they actually were in that part here. And for me, I think they still had a good show. There obviously is some stuff to work on, and maybe it's just a strong roster from the Xmen that really kind of shut them down in the end there. However, that kind of wraps up everything we've had here and now. Coming up next, the grand final. We had 6 teams enter this season. We had 4 teams enter the finals. We are now left with just 2. There is no second chances. There is nothing else to come through. It's going to be the grand finals here at the EU HCS Pro League Summer Finals. Coming right after this break, it's Fabi versus Xmen. See you soon.